Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Andy, and today we are going to get into the discussion of what this Capricorn season is bringing for us. We are here in Capricorn season. It's been a really crazy year to get here, to be honest. I'm really glad that I found myself way back into reading tarot and doing psychic work, because I think that is what I'm supposed to be doing. So we're gonna kind of talk about in this video what Capricorn season, this specific season at the end of 2022 going into 2023 brings us, things to look out for, and the best way to utilize Capricorn's energy, okay? I'm gonna pull a card. This is gonna be more of an intuitive channeled message, but I am gonna pull a card at the beginning just to kind of get a read of the overall theme of what Capricorn is for the collective. So as a collective, what is Capricorn season 2022 to 2023 bringing for us? Okay, we got a couple cards out and something's telling me to take them all. We have intuitive communication, silent whispers of the heart, the dream, something is revealed, insight, breakthrough, amethyst, transformation, certainty, and confidence. Yes, yes, yes. I also just want to note that this card, intuitive communication, has been coming out in a majority of my readings for several different signs, okay? I think it just came out in like Libra, Scorpio, or both of them. I know it came out in Taurus reading as well. It's been coming out a lot. And it's actually been kind of the main focus or the main topic of conversation amongst me and my friends in my day-to-day life, or amongst people that come to seek advice from me or just want to have a chat, is talking about communication and how communication or communicating or having good communication is the main form or the main reason, I guess, as to why a lot of relationships, platonic, romantic, whatever, fall apart, because a lack of communication at all, lack of clarity of communication, lack of people unable to communicate things clearly. All of these things can create a lot of chaos and a lot of dysfunction and a lot of fogginess within relationships. So there isn't necessarily a right or wrong way of communicating. I think that this is what the message spirit wants to relay, because this is kind of what I've been talking about a lot in my personal relationships, in my professional relationships. We've just been talking about a lot about how communication is key, and it really is. I know a lot of people say that communication is key, communication is so important. It really is. My personal advice is that if you're dealing in a situation at this time or whenever in your life where something is not clear to you, like maybe someone says something to you, or information is relayed to you that you're not 100% sure how you're supposed to take it, meaning someone might say something to you that's kind of cryptic and you're like, wait, are they being shady? Are they being rude? Are they being genuine? I can't tell. Ask for clarification. Hey, what did you mean by that? Ask for clarification. If they're unwilling to clarify, that's a whole nother issue. And that in itself already gives you an answer, right? Because whether people do something or not, will say something or not, will or won't, both of those decisions are actions, and actions speak louder than words. That is the other thing that I think that Capricorn season is reminding us of, right? Capricorn being an earth sign, a physical sign, things that need to be happening. It's not so action oriented as a fire sign, right? As a fire sign counterpart, where it's really action oriented, really action based. Earth energy, in the same sense as fire energy, are those physical matter energies, right? Fire can physically burn you, can physically touch the rock or whatever. Yes, you can touch water. Yes, you can feel air, but these are the things that are more physical, more physically bound to the earth, okay? What I want to say is that because of this strong physical connection, this strong physical tie to the earth, to physical thing, to actions, to 3D things that are happening, not so much verbiage. What I feel this season is reminding us is simply that actions speak louder than words. When we talk about intuitive communication, when we talk about these silent whispers of the heart, we talk about people communicating things to us in ways that are outside of maybe our preferred way of communicating, and outside of our preferred or our love language. Because there are people who communicate through giving gifts, and that's how they express their love. There are people who communicate their love through spending quality time with you versus maybe not, versus popping in every once in a while doing favors for you, and that's how they communicate. Everyone expresses and understands love in different ways depending on how they grew up and depending on what their style of love is, how they see love, what they see love as. And it's really important during this time as we transition into the new year to keep this in mind. I feel like towards the end of the year is when people reevaluate their relationships and get ready to kind of send them down the chopping block. Like, okay, I don't want to be friends with this person because they don't love me the way that I deserve to be loved, or they don't love me the way that I understand love to be. But if we take a second, and I'm not saying to not cut anyone off. If you feel someone is not supposed to be in your life, cut them off. Send them down that chopping block. Go for it. But I feel that if we take a second and reevaluate our relationships without our emotions involved, because I feel like those perspectives are coming from an emotional place where it's they're not loving me the way I deserve, or they're not loving me in a way that I can understand. It doesn't mean that they're not loving you. It just means that they may be loving you in the way that they understand love to be. And this is where we really have to take into consideration people's childhood and understand that not everyone grew up the same. Not everyone grew up in a loving household. Not everyone grew up with healthy dynamics amongst their family relationships, amongst their dynamic and relationship with their parents, with themselves. Especially for those of us that were dealing with parents that had them at a really young age. When they were kids themselves and they didn't know any better. They didn't have the right tools to love themselves. They didn't have the right tools to become parents and create healthy dynamics for us as children in this world to understand that there are different ways of loving, and love does not look the same, right? We're not a fucking Hallmark movie where love looks, it's cookie cutter, one size fits all. It's not. Love comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, as do we, because we were all made of love. And that's why we come in a variety of shapes and sizes, because if love comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, then so do we. Of course we do. And of course we find different ways of expressing it, right? There are so many ways. And I'm sure even you watching this, even if you have a preferred love language like I do, like most people do, you can still see that there are a variety of ways to love someone, to express your love towards other people. And in that same sense, if you understand that you can find a variety of ways of expressing your love to other people, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes and see that there is a variety of ways in which you can be loved by these people. And some of which are ways that maybe you have not even considered, maybe have not even thought of, and may not even see or realize that in fact it is love. It's not to say that you need to put up with people's bullshit if they're not loving you or treating you the way that you deserve to be. That's a whole nother thing. But maybe we can take a second and reevaluate before we send them down that chopping block to cut them out of our life. Maybe we take a second, maybe this is love. Maybe this is a different form of love that I'm used to receiving. And love is love at the end of the day. So who are we to cast judgment onto the way that others learned how to love? And that's really what I'm getting at, is that we can't blame other people for the way that they were taught love looked like. Because that's what they were taught and that's all they know. What we can do is we can show them different forms of loving that they may not understand in the same way that you may not understand their way. But maybe it's through this being patient with each other, right? Because as an earth sign, this energy brings a lot of patience for us as well. And I always talk about Capricorn being one of the most hasty earth signs, in my opinion, because I feel that they get very much like myself and much like most of the fire sign counterparts, they get very, I want this and I want this now because I know what I want. And I feel most of the earth signs, Capricorn and Virgo specifically, usually almost always know what they want. And how about they go getting it, or when they decide to go and get it, that's a different story. But they usually know what they want. And I would like to argue that most people, regardless of what sign you are, you have a general idea of what it is that you want. I think that it's the subconscious, or maybe even the conscious mind, that builds these layers over this object of desire that keeps us from being able to see what it is that we want, even if we know it. So I definitely think that in this Capricorn season, a lot of what this has to do with is about us honing in on the way that we communicate with others, and us honing in and understanding the way that others communicate with us may not be the way that we personally would communicate with others, but it doesn't mean that it is a lesser form of communication. It doesn't mean that it's not good enough. It doesn't mean that it's not enough. It doesn't mean that it's not real love. It can still be real love, maybe just wrapped in a different package, maybe just designed and built in a different way because of how they were taught to give love. I did not realize that this was going to be so deep. With the dream, something is revealed, insight and breakthrough. And I really feel like what this is just talking about is, again, just talking about that communication, that this breakthrough that I think a lot of people are going to have as a collective, right? Because this is a collective energy. This is the season that we're in, and it affects us all, regardless of what sign we are, regardless of what our placements are. I think the other beautiful thing is that this is going to be, I feel a lot of people are going to have really big breakthroughs in terms of their communication. Like maybe a lot of people that were too afraid to speak their truth are now speaking their truth. I know that that's true for me. Maybe people that were unable to speak with their emotions connected to their words, maybe will now have this breakthrough of they're able to find a way intuitively for them to communicate what it is that they feel. And it may not even be through words. I'm getting that people might discover brand new ways of communicating their emotions. But like for people that have trouble communicating their emotions, they will find a way to do it. And maybe it's that a lot of people find it difficult to communicate their emotions through their words because they feel that they have to do it that way, right? You have to tell me how you feel. You have to speak your truth. What if it's not through words that they need to communicate it through? It just needs to be communicated, but it could be written down. It could be transformed or transpired into a song or a poem or a drawing or a sculpture, right? When we talk about all these like beautiful, great artists from like medieval times and back or whatever, from ancient times, right? We see that a lot of that stuff was sculptures and artwork. And you know, yes, there were a lot of poets and writers, but a lot of the beautiful things that we see are in the olden days, I want to say, is that there was a lot of creativity through sculpting and through artwork and through art in general, including poems as well, and stories, written stories. So maybe it's that we're kind of tapping into, great, because we talk about all the time that what is it, not time, is it time to like time repeats itself in a way? You know how like trends from the 90s are coming back now, or the early 2000s trends are coming back now, with like we see it with clothes first, or maybe that's the first thing we kind of notice, but a lot of it too is with idioms and with mannerisms and things that we say and do and how we act, how we talk. Those things get cycled as well. As a collective, they get cycled in. And honestly, this is just like a fun theory thing that I have about that, is that because I believe in reincarnation, and I always think that what if it's people that, you know, lived in that time, passed away, and they're being reincarnated now? Because I feel like it's always the younger generation that picks up that older generation's slang or way of dressing. So I just think that that's interesting, but that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother time. Just people are really going to be having a lot of breakthroughs this season. All of Capricorn season, I think, is just going to be breaking through things that don't serve us anymore, because I think we're past that, and I think a lot of people are aware of the things that no longer serve them. And what this intuitive communication is, a lot of it has to do with speaking your truth, that people are stepping into their truth. People know what their truth is, and they want to communicate it to the world. They want to share it. They want to express it in whatever way, shape, or form that is, through words, through writing, through art, through movement, right? I mean, as a dancer, that's another way to express it. You know, it being the dream, a lot of people, I think, are dreaming right now about the life that they want to live. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be this rich millionaire, you're dreaming of that now. If you want to walk outside in a mini skirt, you're dreaming of that. Whatever the dream is, big or small, whether you think it's stupid or weird, it's not. Whatever your dream is right now that you hold in your heart, that you dream of, that you literally, I think people are literally dreaming of a life that they don't live, of a lifestyle that they don't actually live, but they want to be living. They want to be stepping into. That's what this season is going to help break through. It's going to help break through that barrier from our dream state into our physical, waking, everyday life. As above, so below. It's like that line is getting blurred or almost erased, and what is above will be below, and what is below will be above. It's like they're mixing. I'm seeing like oil and water. You know how like oil and water don't actually mix, like the oil sits on top? I'm seeing that, like, it's almost like that's what it is. It's like it's a dream. It's not even possible, but yet it's gonna happen, and yet it is happening. That energy has already started to happen, where like oil and water shouldn't mix, but during this time they're going to be able to. And it's you know, that's what your dreams are. Whatever you're dreaming of, it's almost as if people are dreaming of things that they believe could never happen. You know, like for me, I'm beginning my transition, and I never believed that this is something I ever would have been able to do, ever been able to even admit to myself. And here I am admitting it, and already making progress, very small steps, but making progress towards that. And it's a reality I never believed existed. I thought it only existed in my dreams. I've dreamt of this my whole life. And yet that barrier is becoming dissolved, and this time it's going to be possible for the impossible to happen. That's what this season is bringing. Whatever you dream is impossible will be possible. Amethyst, transformation, certainty, and confidence. And what comes with being able to speak your truth, or what comes with speaking your truth in general, is confidence. Becoming more confident yourself. It takes a lot of confidence to be able to step outside and chest lifted, chin lifted. This is who I am. It takes a lot of confidence and bravery and security within yourself to step out into the world and say, hey, this is who I am. This is how I want to live my life. This is my truth, and it's mine and no one else's. And it may have seemed impossible, and this may be even something impossible to believe, for the world to even believe and accept. But the impossible will be possible during this season. So I definitely think that it's a season to take a leap of faith, which is really crazy because for those of you that are Capricorn watching this, I believe in your past 2 or 3 months, that's all your readings have been about, is about taking a leap of faith, about getting the courage to do something. So I think that this is really interesting that the Capricorn's monthly reading has been already leading down this path. And I think Capricorn season is the season where it gives us the security to feel safe within our bodies, to feel safe within our truths, to feel safe within our dreams, to feel safe in the real world, to really feel safe and secure and stable enough to be like, okay, I feel safe now. I feel secure now. I feel confident now. I feel loved now. I can do this. I can step out into the world. I can be myself. I can make my dream a reality. We're gonna go ahead and get a closing message from Spirit, because this reading was absolutely beautiful, but I think that that's kind of it. I can't say much more. It's really just a time where everyone collectively, we have all the opportunity to have major breakthroughs in our lives, to fully step into our power, to fully step into our truth, to no longer hide from ourselves, to be able to communicate to the world in the way that we want to make our dreams reality. Success. We will be successful. We will be successful in creating our reality, in bringing, you know, as above, so below. That's what this image reminds me of, is bringing in those dreams into the reality, bringing in that divine energy into our bodies, and using our bodies as channels. I believe we're all channels. I just don't think that everyone's tapped in and open to giving and receiving. And when you are, and you allow yourself to be a vessel for the divine to flow through you, beautiful and magical and impossible things begin to happen. Capricorn season is going to be so magical and so mystical. I already feel it. It is a great time to be manifesting and to be putting all your energy towards manifesting the things that you desire, the things that you dream about. And it is a time where things will be really cultivating. And towards the end of the season, I do see that if you are doing your work on manifesting and working on yourself and being confident and taking chances and stepping out into the world and being brave and reevaluating your relationships and how you communicate and how others communicate, and trying to sympathize and empathize and trying to see different ways of communicating love, of communicating the same message, because most of us are just communicating love in different variety of ways. If we can kind of see and understand where others are coming from, I think that this season will be really easy. So I would recommend to try to avoid conflict. And try to avoid conflict in the sense of, try not to have any petty fights. Try not to fight over stupid shit. If stupid shit's going on, walk away. Don't deal with it, right? And also maybe in those moments where people are getting angry, people are yelling, people are bursting, try to see where they're coming from. Maybe they're coming from a place of hurt because there is love involved. Maybe they love you. Maybe they love something in the situation and they're not feeling loved in return. And that in turn creates hurt, creates pain. Because think about the times that you have felt unloved, that you have felt rejected in love. It's painful, it's hurtful, whether it's intentional or not. So think about that when people are bursting, when people are angry, when people are getting upset. Maybe they're just hurt over love. Maybe they feel that there is love that is lacking in their life. And that's where that lashing out comes from, that pain comes from. Because I don't think that anyone feels good when they don't feel loved. It's not a good feeling to feel unloved, to feel a lack of love in your life. Alrighty, I think I've said what I needed to say. My throat's getting really itchy all of a sudden, so I'm gonna go. Capricorn season is going to be so beautiful, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If it resonated with you and you enjoyed these messages today, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me grow my channel. Leave a comment, an emoji, something just letting me know that you watched the entire thing. And if you're not already, go ahead and subscribe if you like more videos like this. I will be starting the January monthly readings right after this, or I think tomorrow or something. I think I'm actually going to go do a pick a card video because I've been wanting to do those for a while, and I usually wait till I get through the monthlies to kind of do extra videos. Okay. My throat is very itchy now. I gotta go. Oh god, almost took me out. I think they're like, girl, Jesus. I feel like I got glass in my throat. All right, I love you guys and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.